The one wasn't on. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We have the minutes from the last meeting. Is there any changes or additions to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Dave makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Properly moved and seconded by Dave, seconded by Paul. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Presentation of the bills. 30 questions. If none, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the bills.
Paul moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jason. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Monthly disconnects. Sarah, I know we had a question on 14 and 15. Did they ever come in? Is there any others that are?
Yeah, no, they have not yet. Then,
Is there any others that haven't?
no, the one number, I have a question about number 2.
Okay, sure.
So they paid their current bill, but they haven't paid what they had put on their contract to pay their delinquent.
Then nope. And now they have to pay in full to get it back on. That was the agreement, correct, JR?
So they need to pay the rest of their remainder of their bill.
They have to be zeroed out for 3, 14, and 15. If they're on the bill, if they came in and signed up for the bill, for the payment, and they didn't make their payment, then yes. Does that make sense to everybody? Do I have a motion to approve the disconnect?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Jason, seconded by Dave. Any other discussion? Paul?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Commissioners report, we'll start with Nicole tonight.
I have nothing. We had to move the sewer meeting, so I will have something to report hopefully next meeting on that.
Dave?
I think most of the, I'll ask John about this. I think most of our patching and blacktopping is pretty much completed for the year, correct, John?
I believe so.
Okay, looks good. Plan to do some more next year. Does that sound like a plan? If we can. Fire department's new rescue truck should be here next week, I believe. It's down in South Dakota, but we'll probably be picking that up and bringing back the old rescue, which we're going to turn into a grass unit. So that project's done with. City's got their new snow hauling truck. Looks pretty good. It's not the prettiest truck, but it'll do the job.
Ever take some wax with you when you go.
Yeah, take some wax and some blinders. And let's see, what else do I have? I'd like to thank Mike Kress and Barb Kress for spending an entire day cleaning up the grounds at the armory. They mowed it and trimmed all the weeds. Plus they went around to the signs and did the signs coming into town also. So I'd like to give a big thank you to them. I was kind of really, I don't know how to put it, why residents are cleaning up our city properties, but that's another time for another discussion, I guess, but I appreciate it. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. Paul?
I don't have a lot. We did do on the electrical side, we did do a lot of electrical projects. They buried a lot of wire. And we also got one big project that we've been waiting to get done for a long time over at the grocery store. As far as I know, that went off well. I don't know if you can, John, I gave it a thumbs up. It worked real good, so. It didn't rain or snow when we scheduled it because it had been scheduled quite a bit in advance, so you never know what can happen, and it seemed like everything went well the times that I was over there looking, so. And city crew were pretty busy over there, so, that day, so. Thanks for all you guys did there, so, to get that project done. And like I said, they buried probably, 4 different places? We buried some underground? They want 5 spots, so we're slowly plugging away at some of this stuff. Hopefully we'll get it done. I do want to, and Jim in here, you can relay the message, we do have to do something with streetlights, try and get those going, and I'm not sure if he has that on his to-do list, because I know he was busy last week, but, yeah, just so that, there was a plan of attack there, so, on that side, on the beautification, I'll let Levi kind of talk a lot about that, what happened in that meeting. HEDC, I really don't have nothing going on. We did have our school committee meeting this morning, where they talked about the results of the school, which is a huge economic development thing to me, and I hope it is to a lot of people. So right now the school is looking at what's Plan B. So, and they're looking for any support or any information or questions or concerns or why you voted no, why you voted yes. You need to contact people either on the committee or Paul at the school herself, because they want to know what people want to do. If they didn't want, they obviously didn't want that plan, so what's the next one? And it's huge economic development, no matter how you look at it. A good school is important to a community, and if it dies or deteriorates, it's going to be felt. You know, it may not be felt today, but it's going to be hard to grow your town without those type of amenities, whether it be businesses. We talk a lot about businesses and economic development, how important they are. Well, a school and a lot of other things are just as important. So it's all part of the big picture. So if you have concerns or questions that you'd like to share, things that you might have that might change your vote from no to yes, if something can be done or maybe explain to you more, please, I cannot ask enough. You know, they're not mad because you voted one way or another. They want to know why you did one way or another, so they can address any issues. So please reach out, and that's all I have on the economic development for right now. We'll be meeting again here in a few weeks, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Jason?
As far as the armory, I'm still waiting on getting that bid to get that flashing or whatever it is redone. I did reach out to him again this week, and I still haven't heard back. I did meet with David Grovins in regards to the cemetery and the work that he does for us each year. I talked with Sarah, and I think if I'm looking at it right, we have roughly about $3,700 left in the cemetery budget. My thoughts were, looks like from our past bills, we typically do between $2,000 and $3,000 worth of work. And I guess my thought would be probably doing somewhere between $2,500 and that $3,000, leave us a little extra in case anything else comes up. Just kind of looking for your guys' thoughts on that as well.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, that's all that I have.
Thank you. I'll start with planning and zoning. So planning and zoning met right before our meeting here. They did not finalize anything on the ordinance, just so they ran out of time on, but they wanted 1 more month to look at it, if you guys are okay with that. They did have a question that came up the Vets Club is putting in concrete, and I know we talked about this before. Dave, you had worked on it with them. We talked about concreting the rest of that alleyway, and so one time we talked about doing something and helping, and so they just wanted some clarification on that, if that was gonna be the case or not, so.
Well, if we could get something done when they do it, if we could get that Miller's, and we could tie it all in, you know, where their loading dock is.
Yep.
If we could get that tied in with concrete and then maybe go all the way south in the alley. I think that's kind of what we talked about, isn't that what, Paul, sometime
Oh,
ago?
yeah, we had originally talked about it, but there was some concern over that's not a city alley. So it's a matter of whether or not we want to do, what we want to do as far as that goes, being it's not a city alleyway.
It's not an actual, right, it's half and half of those, but then we've talked about in the past that it was, we helped those on, we had garbage trucks going in there, so. And what the planning and zoning had heard was possibly that Miller's was moving their loading dock to come in from Paul's side, but that isn't gonna happen.
No. I think it's definitely something we can look at. It's a pretty well-used alleyway. It's used by a lot of people, so I think we can at least entertain what a plan might be to get that fixed and the drainage fixed over there and
That's the big thing.
Getting that
To get the
alley
drains
sloped a little better.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Would be a-
But they put in there's a building permit that came in that they're putting the rest of the way over to the alley with concrete. So they were just questioning on that, whether and what we would do. And I know at one time we talked about sloping that other side where it's, because trucks can't come in there. Because then that's why they end up coming in and backing in off Caledonia. So we talked about resloping that so that you get the trucks in there.
When do they plan? It's not gonna happen this year, I'm sure.
No, they are planning on doing it this year.
They are?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Just the rest of
Mhm.
their parking lot. They didn't want to move any farther till they knew what we were gonna do, and maybe, but we have a lot of businesses now that we'd have to work with to try to get that done.
And I think it's all concrete behind the old bank, isn't it, up to the alley?
yeah, I believe so.
Yep. So it'd be working with Miller's and the vets, the private residence that's there, and then the apartment complex.
So they've hired well, of course, they've hired a contractor to
Yep.
do it.
I believe Baumgartner's Brothers is doing that one. But I assume that we'd want more concrete, maybe than what I don't know if they're doing 4 or 6. We'd want as much traffic and weight that goes on that. So maybe Dave, you want to work on that with them a little bit?
I'll start working on it right away in the morning. I'll get over to Miller's and start doing some digging around. Because it would be nice to tie it all together if we could.
Well, and at least if we can get up to Miller's to start with, and then we can always look at the other side later.
Because I don't know if we need to get Steve involved in, you know, as far as engineering, to make sure that we don't have a pool of water when we're done. So,
And if we want that, it would be good to have the approval tonight to get that figured out before we figure it all out. See how much. If you want it surveyed to make sure that we're draining it correctly.
well, if we don't, not gonna come back next spring and they have a big pool of water.
Right.
We'll just, that's just not
That's what
gonna-
is, right.
not gonna happen. Well, I think we should get one of Steve's guys up here anyway and take some shots or whatever they have to do.
Okay.
Start there.
Do I have a motion then to approve to do that?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, is
Because
there,
if we're gonna do that project, it's gonna somehow drain water out of there.
great. Is there a second? And I'll work with Sarah, trying to figure out where we'll take it out of.
Because if we can get it, you know, if we can get the drainage, it's not gonna be that big deal to tie it into the, you know, tie it into the concrete that's already existing there behind the bank,
Great.
so. Yeah, I think we should if we can do it, let's do it.
Okay, I'll reach out to Steve if he's not listening tonight.
What do you guys think?
Do I have,
Paul?
all right, do we have a second first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Technically, we just need a second to talk about it.
I'll second it to talk about
Thank you,
it.
Paul. It's been probably moved and seconded.
So, I guess, I don't have a problem doing that, but I'd also like to know what their thoughts are at Miller's. I'd like to find out what what their thoughts are, because if they're not interested in putting anything towards it, you know, then we need to come back and look at it, you know, so, because we gotta remember, we're good, the old can of worms, you know, we do it for this guy, or, you know, are we gonna do it for the next one? Because I can tell you, if I had a business right over here, I'd be saying, what are you doing for me? That's a city alley, and you're not fixing that. So just to keep that in mind, that, you know, and I'm not against fixing that either, doing some work on it. It's terrible. But just be aware that we have to, that could be coming down, and maybe it's something we do all at one time at some point, so. Especially over by the post office, behind those businesses. That alley gets used a lot, and it's in terrible shape. So, but as far as over there, I guess I would like to see what Miller's plan is, because it isn't going to really affect the concrete that they're doing over there, because they're going to tie it in with the parking lot that's there now. So no matter what we did, we'd have to, you
The
know,
only thing it would affect is possibly if they need to slope it a little different.
more
from there.
different, so, but,
Coming out, if the water coming from their parking lot's gonna
Mhm.
affect the slope. So. And I think this would be our contribution to that project, is to help get that figured out.
so I would be okay with having them, making sure that they're getting that low enough, if they have to get it lowered, to make sure but I'm assuming they're gonna make it street level, I would assume, because they're right at the end of it, so, but, maybe it's something we need to have them come up and verify, to make sure that before they pour, somebody's looked at it and make sure that it is at the right elevation. That maybe would be a better route to go, is say, hey, before you're ready to pour this, we're gonna have our engineer look at it and make sure it's, you know, where it's supposed to be. So that maybe would be a better plan in my idea, so. So I would be okay with that, making that motion.
Let's just throw out that Miller's saying, no, we don't want anything to do with this project. So then how far do we want to go? Do we just want to stay within the same as the Vets Club then, or?
I would say so, that making sure that the vets, that if it's in the future, we need drainage, then that's all we would do, is just for that area. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So there's no use doing the other side if Miller's isn't gonna be interested, but I thought they were at one time, so I can't imagine that has changed.
Well, let me do some digging around. I'll go over there and talk to him.
Okay, then just let me know what you find
I'll
out.
let you know what, find out.
I should say, if we approve this, then and you let me know, then I can call Steve and get the ball rolling on that. Nicole, your thoughts?
How much is it gonna cost to have him come up here and look at it roughly?
When we do a house, it's around 1,200, 1,000 to 1,200, I think was the last estimate, so I'm guessing it should be under 25. That's probably a high number, I would think.
I would hope so.
And he'll have a contract that I'll have to sign. And I can let you guys see it before we move forward. And if there's any questions on it, then we'll stop at that point. If that seems okay.
I'm all right with that.
Any other discussion?
So how's it gonna be worded exactly? How are we gonna?
We'll check elevations in the alley at between First and Second Street, am I right?
Yeah.
First and Second
First
Street.
and Second
Mhm.
Street.
The
Kellogg
alley.
On the
and
100
First
block,
Avenue.
we'll check the alley for elevations for the concrete project that's going in. And if Miller's and the others are okay with their part of the project or looking at it, then we can check elevations for the whole alleyway. Otherwise, it would just be for the concrete project that's going in.
And if you've seen that cost, think that cost is a little extreme, you'll come back to us.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. I'll let you know what the
Use your
cost
better
is.
judgment. Yep. So,
I'll let you guys know what the cost is no matter what, so.
okay.
Any other discussion? Nicole? Paul?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Good thing you got it recorded twice.
Oh, she got it all. She's on top of it.
All right. Also on planning and zoning, I don't know if you guys had seen it or not, they had been they're working on a draft to try to help residents to decide what building permit they need. So if you're putting in a new water fixture, that'd be under section 1. What section 1 you don't need a building permit for. Section 2, maybe you're putting in new shingles. That means that under section 2, it would be a building permit required with a $25 fee. So try to help residents out. I don't know if you guys have gotten it or not. I can pass this one around and make sure you guys get it. I think I didn't send it out because I hadn't met with them yet, so.
That's different than this one? You've updated it from this one?
Yep.
Okay. So that's
That
going
one's
to be a
been
little different from
updated,
that.
I know I talked to a couple of you about it as I was working on it to get your input to see how it should go.
I'm glad that they're taking that on to get that straightened out, the planning and zoning.
Yep.
It's going to make life easier for the office. It's going to make life easier for everybody.
And there's a fence one too where they're gonna put it and they haven't completely decided on that yet. One of the hardest questions they're trying to answer is we know that it's up to the residents to find their property lines, but how do we help them with that? Because we've said before that we don't want to put the city liable, that if we have one of our guys go out and look at it and then maybe they're off or there's 2 pins in there, now is the city liable for what we did? And so how do we,
That was part of it. Wasn't the other part that they were finding pins all the time?
right,
Or
well,
weren't you that much? I thought that was one of it too. It just seemed like you were looking, somebody always wanted a pin found. Yep, yep, so, and we didn't. No, so.
right,
So that was another reason why we.
right. So one of the thoughts that other communities do is they provide it's not a metal detector, it's a magnet. John, you know what the technical, it's a magnet. They allow one they have it say at City Hall for people to come in and check it out so that then they can go to try to find their pins if they want it. Which you might find rocks or branches or a lot of other.
It's not a metal detector?
It's not it's like a metal detector. It's able to go deeper.
Okay. Oh, like a compass, okay.
Should be like a fee attached to that, to rent it out,
Deposit.
a deposit.
Does it? So there's 2. So, and I don't need an answer tonight, I just, that's one thing that we talked about was maybe the guys need a new one and the old one can be over here for rental with a simple explanation how to use it, so. That's one option, trying to find, and that's part of the description on there is how to find it. A lot of that stuff was stolen. I didn't think of all of it, so. To try to help people try to figure out what they're doing or where they're going, so. The office, we added as a trial, which they seem to like, we added Teams phones on, which right now it's $15 a month for each person. So Sarah and Abby have it turned on and I have it turned on just to help them figure out how to get it to work. They seem to like it, but I'll let her talk more about it. But basically what Teams phones is we have the phone forwarded at the office, which will then call Abby's line, which is on the computer, so they could be at home and it would still answer. And if Abby doesn't pick up, then it would ring to Sarah and then it would ring to Casey or whoever we have it sent to. Also, it then would go to voicemail if they're all three are busy. The other benefit is that you should no longer get a busy signal. Because we only had the one line before. So that's what some of the bills are, is that they were adding the phones onto their headsets and those types of things that they had before that quit working as well. So they seem to like that, and it's a little bit more reasonable option than other things, so. And Sarah can talk more about it, but some of the other things that we could do is then as commissioners, if you want it turned on, they could forward it on to a voicemail that you guys would get. If somebody had a call for you, you don't have to necessarily give up your personal line. You can text from that, so if you have the team apps downloaded, you can text, you can send it to whoever, so there's a lot of things that can be done. Beautification met, and they determined, I guess, that they do a couple things. One is that we had talked about a Christmas tree over there, and they had recommended to do that, to have a Christmas tree placed out there, and I know that's part of the railroad park trees, so we'll talk about that later. Is there anything else, Paul, I'm missing on planning, on beautification?
We went around and looked at a lot of properties.
Oh, yeah, we went around and looked at a lot of different properties and sent some stuff out.
Had one property owner come in and explain their situation, and
Yep.
we appreciate that when they come and tell us what's going on. So if they haven't met a deadline, come in and visit with us and explain why you can't meet that deadline, and we can.
And then we came up with another deadline, which they agreed upon, so it was pretty easy. They were.
Communication. As long as you're communicating with us, we'll work with you, but if you don't communicate, we don't know what happens. So.
I want to say there was one other thing. Well, that's another line item, so I figured.
Did you guys ever, on the beautification, ever talk to Hammond up there in his car shop about having all them vehicles parked on the sidewalks? I was coming through town one day and I noticed there was a group of kids walking. They're coming from the south and they were dodging, walking like this in between all his cars. Is he allowed to have all those vehicles parked all over like that, or?
The only thing that we've ever gotten a complaint about was the one that was parked on the street, and then that was moved. But technically, no, they're not supposed to park on the sidewalk. That'd be impeding. If that's something, then I can start that process and
Yeah, because is he allowed, is that state right away or is that our right away on the,
I believe it's our right away. On the sidewalk. anyway.
yeah. I personally, I think that they should be moved. I don't think it looks very good. And
Okay, I will start that process and. And so, just so you're aware, Dave, I'll go take pictures and then it'll go to the planet, or the beautification
correct.
members. They'll look at it and say, yes, this is in violation, or no, it's not in violation, and then the letters will be sent based off of that, off of that decision. Did I miss anything, Sarah? I feel like I missed something, but I can come back to it. All right. All right, next we have John. Do you have anything tonight?
Yeah, in regards to public works application for jobs. When we recommend this application, and the only, I believe two was submitted. He works, he's been working steady for 13 years, he's got a good work history, done very types of work, similar types of work. He lives not really in town, but closer than some. But very across the highway from the job, I guess. But they work, you don't problem for. He's asking $19 an hour to take it from there.
Everything came back good on that, as far as you guys?
He's eager to start. Eager to learn.
When would you be willing to start? When?
I have to do it anytime, I think.
Okay.
I'm sure you've already had for 2 weeks' notice and more than that. I haven't talked to him about it, but.
In your packets is a fee control for what Titan Public Works needs. So what Brian, like I highlighted what Brian and then Bird started out at 19.
I think, but we started Vern at 1975, right?
I think so, yeah.
Where
Bird started at 1975.
where Brian started at 19, then went up to
I
1975.
think Brian actually started. Maybe.
After 6 months, they get it 75%. Right. And he just hasn't moved because I assume he's on the,
But I know he just got a certification.
right. But he must took family insurance.
Yeah, he did.
And he's eager and willing, the way it sounds, to get some more certification, John?
After he's decided, I guess. More knowledge.
Okay. Electrical, water, sewer, which one is he really, do you say which one he's excited about? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the hire of William Otto, or Bill Otto, at the $19 an hour? With this?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Dave, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Paul. Is there any other discussion? Jason?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Do you want to see the applicant first? Somebody says John's mic is not working. I'm guessing 'cause
Yeah.
John didn't want it turned on.
John, you gotta turn your mic on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can on this end.
If we had a cab over there, you'd do better, wouldn't you? A makeshift
Okay, I'm on
payload.
a joystick.
Yeah. Nicole?
Yes,
Any yes for me? Motion carries.
thank you.
And I assume he can start as soon as he is able. Anything else, John?
Nope.
JR? Sarah?
Okay, so like Levi mentioned, we started doing, implementing Teams calling in the office. It's been a little trial and error. So I just wanted to let everybody know who is listening that you can call the regular City Hall number, the 636-4620. But when we call out, so say we're calling you about a bill or we're calling you about, I don't know, like your building permit being approved, the City Hall number won't show up on your phone anymore. It'll be a different number. So then Abby's, and we're working on maybe trying to get that fixed. So I think there might be something there where we can change, so it'll show up as our City Hall number. We just haven't got to that point yet. So then Abby's number, when she calls you, the admin assistants, it will be 701-636-9147. So it's a Fargo number, I believe. And then my office number, if you want to reach me personally in my office, it'll be 701-639. Did I say 636 last name?
You said 636 on the other one.
So, excuse me. So Abby's is 701-639-9147. And then mine is 701-639-9115. So those are the two numbers that we have right now. And then once our new auditor, Casey, comes in, she'll get her number, and then she can let everybody know what hers is.
Is this the number to get a hold of you through Teams, or?
You can call this number
right?
through Teams
Okay.
to get a hold of me. And anybody else listening, just call the regular City Hall number. That hasn't changed. It'll just get forwarded to Teams, and we'll answer it as normal. Everything else seems to be working smoothly. Like Levi mentioned, you all can get Teams on your phone if you want. Download it and we can communicate through that. It's really easy. If you have a request for either Abby, myself, or Casey, you can just message us that way, and we'll receive it. I think that's basically all. We got new phones for the office, like team phones, and some headsets to go along with that. Yeah, that's basically, I don't know if anybody has any questions about it.
Can we still send you, on the 639 number, can we still send you regular messages like we've been doing on my messenger?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
If you're on your personal cell phone, you want to text that number.
Yep. Nice. Yeah. So if you don't want to put Teams on your phone, you can send a message through, like a text message through that number,
Okay.
or put in that number.
That's what I mean, text message.
So that's basically what it was just last week that we implemented that, so we've kind of been playing around with it. It's been going pretty well. It's pretty smooth, actually. And then I just want to mention again that PSN and Banyan are still having issues pulling the right account numbers. So like when you pay your bill through PSN, or if we run the checks through our through PSN, we'll run it manually. It's having issues pulling the right account number over into Banyan. So it'll come across PSN with the right account number, but then when it gets pulled into our Banyan software, it goes to a different account. So if you did receive a red card from me, and you already paid your bill, please call the office and we'll get that fixed for you. I'm currently working with Banyan and PSN to see what the issues are, so that we can get that resolved so it quits happening. I know it's very frustrating for a lot of people, including us at the office. Daryl Crotty was in the office today. He's the one that was awarded the cemetery mowing bid, and he is wondering if he could use the shed at the cemetery to store his mower next summer. But I don't know, does the city own that? I don't even know, I'd never seen a shed out there.
Do you know, John?
I assume, but I don't know for sure.
Mike stored his in there,
He did, okay.
as far as I know.
I think it's city property, so.
Okay, so yeah, he was just asking for permission to store his mower in there for
We've
summer.
done it in the past.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have.
When you said you send a red card out, if somebody comes in and pays their bill, if they give you a check, like I gave you a check? Or is this online where they're paying their bill?
Well, sometimes it's online, so if they pay it online, they've done it for years. Like some of these people have done this for years, and it goes in our payment service network software, fine, but then when I in the morning when I do my transfers, so I'll transfer everything from PSN, I'll transfer that into Banyan software, and that's where it's having some communication issues. It'll pull a completely different account, like totally unrelated to.
Okay.
So it's either that, or when you hand me a check, I have a device that I run all the checks through, and then that pulls up, that's through PSN. So then I have to manually pull all that over, and then it doesn't, there's a lot of issues with it.
I've never got a red card yet. So.
Well, you're good then.
I just want to say one thing, Sarah, too. I've been really impressed working with you in the office. You do a great job. I'm really impressed, so keep it up.
Paul, you're off the hook. On the last meeting, I said you have to make sure that we got to give gratitude to somebody every meeting, so.
Hey,
Somebody else is up next one. Remember that.
and it wasn't even a forced one. It was
It
voluntary.
wasn't, so you didn't even know that you had to do that. All right, I'm guessing there's probably nothing from the sheriff's office?
What's that?
Good news is always, or no news is good news from the sheriff's office?
Right, no, I don't think we have anything yet right now.
Good. And it sounded like the letter and stuff that we sent was helped make
Yes,
this.
thank you very much.
Good. And everybody seen that letter? I know it was kind of last minute, so. All right, on the Oster property, we did go out and look at that, and we measured a little bit, and just to try to figure it out, we measured from her side, from the inside of the sidewalk, and you measure over 140 feet, and it puts it right, pretty much dead center on the edge of her garage. And you measure from the other side 140 feet, and it puts it about the same. And so and Paul can correct me if I'm wrong, we said that anything that's on the street, in the alley, on the sidewalk needs to go, and if it is anything permanent in the driveway needs to go, like a shed. If it was anything else, then that would be okay. Does that sound right, Paul?
Yeah, well, we're hoping, we'd like to see the driveway cleared of anything that would basically couldn't be moved and put a car there in a short fashion, because there's some kind of temporary, I don't know, for lack of better terms, temporary storage there that's been there for as long as I can remember looking at that property, and that's not supposed to be there. So we recommended that, and if you haven't been over there lately and looked, I don't know if you drove by there at all, but the night we were there, you couldn't even walk down the sidewalk. The driveway by the garage was full, the apron was full, the street was full. It was completely blocked with everything at that time, so.
Because according to our ordinance, they're supposed to have at least 2 off-street parking spots for each resident, which would be those 2 spots which are used. I know the vehicles have been parked there at least a week from the last meeting that we had. And so as long as you, I guess that's what would be expressed on that anything on the sidewalk in the alley that is past their property on the street, and then nothing permanent in the parking, or in those 2 spots.
So what's the game plan with her?
Well, I know that that was one of the questions that were asked, is what specifically do we want her to move? And I guess this is what we were tasked to do, and we said this is what we need moved. I guess we let her know that, and that's what it was, you know, and then if it doesn't get moved, then,
And we have
then we have to,
we have sent the letter, JR sent it twice, that the stuff in the alley needs to go. So that stuff we can move, because it's on city property. The rest of it is getting her to do it.
This has gone on for so long.
And she has been charged, she has been convicted of it at one point.
she has another charge
She has
too.
another charge on it.
And you can charge her all day long and nothing's gonna change until you send somebody in and start moving stuff, I guess.
Right, but that was the issue when we did go in. Steve and Charlie didn't feel comfortable us going in with her saying, no, you can't.
It's a tough situation.
We can tag the stuff have the officers tag the stuff that's on the street, and that stuff can get moved and on the sidewalk, because now that's impeding, correct, Jason?
The sidewalk, probably. The street stuff, I mean, it's a matter of proving what actually is hers not moving. I see the difficulty being, if we tell her that you have to move this vehicle, what about Bob down somewhere else that has a camper that's been there all summer, or you gotta enforce it fairly is my biggest concern. I agree it looks terrible. I agree with that, but my problem is how do you go about it? That's the part that I struggle with.
And it's not just our community, it is every community out there. But if we back down at this point, are we going to gain any ground anywhere else if we have the issue? Because I have to say that we have gained a lot of ground on other properties.
I can't remember, JR, have we looked at possibly filing something through the court that a judge would sign off on and allow us to go move stuff off of the property that's not being complied with?
I know we talked with Charlie about that a while ago, and that's where these court cases came from. The end goal actually was hoping that those court cases could have that tied in, because the judge already ordered it's a nuisance. The judge would be within their power to say it's a nuisance, and you're empowered to remove it. So I could talk with Charlie if we'd like to see if that's something we could pursue.
On the next charge possibly, or do we have to have it in the ordinance that would say that?
Well, the ordinance already says it, so
Okay.
this would just be getting the court behind it too.
To
So I could talk
enforce
with
it.
Charlie and see his thoughts.
Because the next one is in December, if I remember right.
Can you specifically request, well, what, you know, because, can you say, well, what do you want us to do? What do we need to do, Judge? You know, because otherwise we're just going to waste their time, you know, bringing these in, and if they don't put, if she or he doesn't put something with bite into it, it's just, you know, so I guess that's, I don't know if that's a question that Charlie can ask, or you explain how that can be done.
Give me 2 weeks or till next city meeting, and I'll
You kill
Got a
batteries
timer,
again.
guys. I'll talk with Charlie, see what I can find out. I know you can do it
Mic drop.
in civil action, but we'll try to do it. I'm almost done in a criminal action.
Are you done?
No, that's it. That's all I have.
Now we're going to put you to work.
Next time you have to put more drama behind it.
Don't charge us
Seems like
extra
a
for
mic
that.
drop.
Well, it'd be someday, it'd be nice to come to the meeting and not see her name on the agenda.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's my think I agree with Dave a little bit, that I think getting to a final outcome should be our biggest goal. Because obviously, the other stuff's not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah,
And that is I believe our final outcome is to get it cleaned up. It's finding that path to try to do it. I mean, we've tried
Well, we have to get,
everything.
we have to get some guidance from the person that's gonna give us the teeth to do it,
Right.
because we just can't go do it on our own, so.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we've tried going in and trying to do it. We've tried, I thought maybe the courts would help push her along, and maybe now that they see that she's got this charge and this charge and this charge and this charge coming up, well, and that was kind of our thoughts with keep charging her every couple weeks or every month, so that when the judge looks at it for this next case, you can say, hopefully Charlie can bring that up and say that there is now 15 charges of the same thing sitting behind this that we've been asking and asking, and can we just go in and do it?
I don't think we need the 15 or whatever number we want to come up with. My opinion is after 2 or 3 of them doing it the way that we have, where you kind of let the other one play out, you keep trying to work with her, and then I would feel that pretty soon we should, in my opinion, be able to possibly get that judge to sign off on it. But that's,
I'll leave it up to JR. That's my opinion on it, but yeah, that's what I think our end goal is to get it cleaned up.
again, like you guys said, 98% of people comply with it, and, it's, the problem comes when you have those other ones that just keep doing it, and you still gotta enforce it fairly for what you're doing with everybody else in town is, again, my thing.
Well, we did take on probably the biggest one, and one time I was told that I had to read a book that was just eat the frog. Well, I think we ate the frog on this one, and we're still trying to get it down. So,
It's confusing to me because one time I drove by there and I even stopped and talked to her and I just said, "You're just doing a fantastic job here. It's really starting to look nice." And then I don't get it. I don't know.
you know what? It's more than just, I think there's a lot of health things that go along, and when Mike and I were over that one time, we talked to her about that, we can't give you that help, but we can help you in the right direction, because we know that it is a health or a mental health thing, and so that they're doing that. But, we can't help them if they're not gonna try to do a little bit on their own, and she did try several times, I think, but then it just, it came back again,
Yeah.
like you said.
It's kind of sad in a way, actually.
It is. Anything else on that? So we'll wait for JR's. They did recommend a charge again, but if you guys feel waiting till JR, I think they'd be okay with that on that side.
I think it'd be smart to let JR and Charlie
Yeah.
talk and see what they can come up with. Maybe they have something we can't even think of.
Right.
We already have a date in place, right?
For
For court for her in December or something?
December 12th, or it's a Wednesday, I can't remember the exact. We have 3 of them, the 13th, I think it is. Okay, the next item under old business is the draft contract for the auditor. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look through that. I sent it to Casey, but I see she's here tonight. I didn't hear back from her, so I thought no news is good news.
She gave you a thumbs up.
All right.
I didn't see any problem with anything.
If everybody's okay with it, I'll entertain a motion to approve that so that we can get that signed. Then she officially can work for us.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Properly moved and seconded by Dave and Jason. Any other discussion? Paul?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. The cargo storage container ordinance, we'll hold off on that. Hopefully you guys had to look at it. Most of it seems pretty straightforward. we did, whether you want to enforce it or not, there is the one property that would go into section 5 if we were gonna allow them to keep that. And then, there was a couple that have come in for that, or since then, and we did send out building permits. They're both on commercial property, so.
That was gonna be my next question. If commercial property ones are okay.
They're okay, but they have to turn in a permit, and and that's what it says on here, is they can't be seen from the outside, so it can't look like a storage container. Even on commercial.
So this is what we have in the ordinance right now. What about the highlighted areas?
No,
That's something
this
that's been,
this would be a brand new
this be a
ordinance.
brand new one, okay.
Added in, the yellow areas are just,
So we'll look over this and take action on it next time, is what you're
Right.
saying? Okay.
because where it says the prohibited use for storage container within residential and mobile home park districts, unless you wanted something else added in there. But as of right now, it's just those two zones. And then the other yellow area, like I said, is on section 5, and that's where we have a current one in. And so, if we wanted it,
Yeah, no batteries. Mine's going dead.
I got 2 dead ones.
I do too, one day.
You're selling mine.
I don't have to talk anymore, I guess. If that'll work, I don't have to talk to you.
Were you? Oh, gotcha.
make sure you put batteries on your list.
Sarah put them in there. She didn't want us to talk, John.
Speaking of that, I need to check and see where our other ones are at. It is October. We ordered them in March.
Yes, quite a while ago.
Maybe they made it over. All right. Anything else on that? Sarah, do you want to, I sent you 2 pictures on Teams. At Railroad Park, we talked about trees. Paul had talked to this, I sent it to you on Teams. No, like a team chat.
Thinking.
Paul had talked to the guys about some three more trees that would need to go over there to get moved, and then we did,
That's what we're looking at.
maybe I need to email it.
This side.
The size, so the big one.
Would that be the Christmas tree?
Yep.
Great.
There you go.
Is it coming? Slow. So this would be the tree that Paul and I went and looked at. It's between 15 and 18 feet tall. This is a little bit different tree. It's kind of the newer one that they're going with. So the branches go up instead of out, and they did a very nice job trimming this one, we thought. It is a little light on the backside, but that would face the back of the, towards the railroad park, or towards the railroad. And I don't know that we have an exact spot-on measurement, but it would be kind of in the area of those other 2 evergreens that it would go in. This one is $550 with transportation costs. Basically, it's 2 trips at $4 a mile because they have to come down and dig a plug, go back, get the tree, and then put the tree in that plug. And then we'd have them move one tree over here from just a little ways. It's the closest.
No, we're gonna take the three
Take
dead
three
ones
out and move one good, nice tree.
There's that one tree right by the flower planter that's kind of right out in front, and if we don't move that one, it's gonna kind of obstruct the view of the Christmas tree, no matter where you put it. It's just in that spot. It's too nice a tree just to cut down though, so it'd be nice to move it someplace in the park for shade.
So we'd moved over where we took some of those other ones that were not so great. And so that would be $1,052 is what the bid was. I have it in the pickup, I forgot to bring it in. Let me double check, pretty sure that's what it was.
Did that include moving that tree?
That include moving that tree?
It did, okay.
Because it's 150 to move the, or 250 to move the tree.
Right.
And that's with all seasons out of Grand Forks, and they would be able to get to it. I asked him, and he said he had like 10 days left in the calendar, so.
You look at the forecast, and the forecast looked good for 10 days, but after that, he couldn't.
He said they're guaranteed for a year. If something happens, they wouldn't necessarily replace it with the same tree. We'd get another tree, but we'd have to pay for the cost of moving it. We just need to water it at least once a week, about 20 gallons until freeze up, and then fertilizer and put some mulch on the top of it, around it, and keep mulch on it.
Mirror acid's the best for evergreens.
What's that?
Mirror acid?
Yep.
That's what I put on ours. Stay nice and green.
And then we have to pack in around where the plug is after they put the tree in. You'd pack in around the tree where the plug came, or between where the plug was taken out and the tree itself.
And the reason they said is they could never guarantee that tree as far as the same tree back is because he said that's probably the only evergreen tree on a lot in North Dakota that size. So it's not common to get them that big.
Right.
So that's why he said they couldn't guarantee putting back the same 18-foot tree if this one should give us a problem. It was asked about putting them in this time of year, and without a hesitation, the gal that was talking to us, I mean, she didn't even hesitate. She said, this is the best time of year to do it. So, which surprised me. I didn't think it was, but the way she explained it,
The trees are shutting down at this point, so they put all the nutrients in the roots, and so when you move it, all that nutrients is in the roots. And so in the spring, it has a little bit extra in the roots to get started instead of trying to make it during the year. They've been in the business since 1979, and I think Paul and I got the whole tour of the facility and everything else, but it was
Yeah,
quite
if you're looking for trees, there you can go. They have a lot.
Yes.
Make sure you guys do locates over there before you.
Yep, that was that's,
Doing anything.
yep. As soon as you gave approval, I would have them do locates and do all that, so. And I know HBA is behind it, the beautification was behind it. I think it's one of those things to help bring downtown. Some other things that they talked about was, none of this is set in stone or what we should have to do, but, do you put a fireplace out there and people can sit around it with flowers behind it, place to gather, those type of things, so. Trying to bring that central hub into downtown. And we could put lights on the caboose too.
So there's 3 trees, 2 would be removed, 1 would be moved.
No, 3 would be removed.
3 would be removed.
The 2 evergreens that are in there.
Okay.
And then there's one towards the railroad, towards the rail that's leaning into the rail.
Okay.
And then move, which,
The 4th one.
the 4th one is
Okay.
on the
Boulevard.
towards the flower bed where it's at. It's the only one left there. That would get moved over, probably in line by those other 2 that are left, those fruit-bearing trees.
Okay.
I remembered what we forgot, the grant. It's okay, we'll add it down. I knew there was something else. So with that, I'd entertain for a motion to approve to do that, to get the rest of those trees taken out, move the one, and then bring those other ones in for, like I said, the quote was $1,052. And that could come out of there's still some left in the president's line item for that.
Don't we have anything in beautification that we could take it out of?
I don't know that a
It's
line
kinda
ever
tight.
got put on there. It just came out of sales tax. There should have been, but there wasn't.
Or you think there might have been a grant, tourism grant available?
I didn't see anything, and I looked, I guess. Not right at this point in time. Maybe in the future we could do that for some of the other stuff.
Would this maybe promote tourism here?
Are you saying that the sales tax dollars is coming on
No, I'm just thinking of another fund.
that? Our lodging fund?
If it's a way to promote people to come and stay. If that's what our objective is for that area.
I'd hate to hold it up though, if we could get it, because they said it should be done by November 1st if we're going to do it this year.
You gotta move quick then.
Which we could always apply for it later after this and get reimbursed on it.
Do that.
If you're okay taking it out of that fund, that's fine by me. President,
That's fun.
What are you taking out of?
There's a line item in the general fund that we put for projects, different things. It's called the President's Fund, just to help. If there's something that came up and we didn't know where to get money from, that's one item that we'd have. I think last year we had 9,000 or 8,000.
So you just need a motion?
Just need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved by Nicole, seconded by Paul. Any other discussion? Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think it's hard change doing things, but the mural has really, I think, brought a little bit more, and I think trees and Christmas, and we'll get there. So, which means Paul and I might have to run a bucket truck, or John help us run a bucket truck, hang up Christmas lights, and this John really likes hanging Christmas lights.
And wear a Santa hat while doing it too.
Maybe John could be Santa. Huh?
We did have, John, we did have a few people on the HPA that would be willing to help, so if you're willing to do something like that, we could put you all in contact when the time comes and get that stuff done. Because there was, I know of one for sure that was interested in doing decorating, so, and I'm sure there'll be more than one, so.
All right. Next item is the gaming raffle permit. I had tried to reach out to her. She was not in school today, but I did talk to the principal. And on that permit, it says online again.
There's quite a few dates.
And so unless that gets changed, I know last time they actually pulled their raffle, so we didn't do the last raffle. Pulled it out, so. Right. So at this point, we don't have to necessarily not make a motion on it, but
So if they do the raffle, if they don't do the raffle online, we can approve it.
correct. And because it does say at the top, online, it's the,
You promote it online, you can't just have sales.
You just can have the raffle.
You can't sell the raffle tickets or whatever on Facebook or whatever online.
because I believe the reasoning is that Venmo and PayPal and some of those online platforms could use your credit card, where the state has said, even if you go buy a lottery ticket, you have to pay cash. You can't use credit to buy your lottery ticket. I believe that's the reason they don't want. lottery tickets or raffle bought on credit.
I'll make the motion on the stipulation that they don't do it online.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Paul. Is there any other discussion? Nicole?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Next item is the pool insurance. So there was a lapse in the policy because we didn't know about it until after the fact, but I did reach out to Ryan since that's where we had moved to put our insurance towards. And so that was a put in there. Otherwise it was through Heritage. He did say it was a little bit more. So our current one is 698 or 702 for the policy, and under Farmers Union it was and that's small, 770, or we can go with a higher premium or a higher deductible, 754 or 704. But that's with the 102,000 on the building and 18,000 on the contents.
So the deductible will be what and the premium would be what?
If it's $1,250 deductible, it'd be $770. If it's $754 premium, we'll get you $2,000 deductible. $704 will give you a $5,000 deductible. And this is just the flood insurance.
You need a motion?
And which one you want to go with?
I don't see a problem with the $1,250 for $770 premium.
Okay.
It's not a lot of difference. You're only talking, what, $16?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Properly moved and seconded. Moved by Paul, seconded by Jason to approve with Farmers Union the 770 premium. Any other discussion? Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. The last thing that's on here is I said I would get a rate sheet put together. And so there is a few changes that I added in, and this is just a draft. This is not a for example, the commercial minimum that is just on there, that doesn't mean that that's what we have to do for water rates. Currently, it's $42.50 for any hookup. And the water usage is $3 a foot, or $3 per 100 cubic foot. The other ones that are new are the new connection charges. We don't have that in place right now, whether we want to stipulate that. That'd be for new electrical hookups. The deposits, which we've been off, haven't been doing those. So this is stipulating what it is, and that I moved up just because the bills have been moving up to try to cover some of that. I think it was 100. It was 100 for electrical and $50 for water. And this doesn't have to be voted on tonight. This is just a
Just because I'm a member of the Hillsboro Business Association, I'm just curious as to why the commercial is $42 versus the residential at 16. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know.
If you know, Dave, you've been here a while.
I can't answer you, Paul. Sorry.
I'd be curious before we did something there, what kind of effect that would have on things to us.
To go up to, so that they were the same?
Well, a little bit closer together, I guess. You look at some businesses, they probably, some of the smaller businesses, they probably use less, demand than some residential places, so I'm not really certain why they felt the need for it to be that way. Maybe, I don't know, John would know, or Jim would know, or somebody would know, I don't know.
$32.16.
Yeah. So, and I don't know, maybe there's a logical reason, but I'm just curious.
Does that mean that the rate then has to go up? Because commercial properties get 7.5 cents a kilowatt, where residential is 8.2. And I should say that too, the off-peak went up because we are paying right around that 55 where it's at now, so we have to move off-peak up.
And that might be the reason, I don't know, because the rates are different, so I'd have to do the math to see.
I'll let the guy that has the electrical portfolio try to figure that out.
Yeah.
And then the no load control, that's put in, once we get that would be implemented in when we're ready for that. The garbage, that I moved up to make it work. When I look through the bills, if we went up to that, we'd be okay. And what the difference is on the commercial side, if they get a tote, it's $22.50 per tote, because I know some businesses have totes. If they have the dumpster, it's $25 a yard. And I don't know how they split it, like Nicole, how you guys split yours.
How do we split that big one back there?
Right, I mean, it's up to.
We all just pay the same price. Like, I know I pay $80 a month for that container back there. And then the next door neighbor gal, she also pays double as well. Because we get charged for both top and bottom. So, yeah.
Oh, because you have residents on top and.
Yeah, so we have to pay commercial fee up top and commercial fee down on the bottom. And so the gal next door that doesn't have commercial, she just lives up there, she has to pay double too. And then we share that big, yeah, it's weird.
So you guys just share one, you're the only one who use that?
The whole line of us share that same container sitting behind the brewery.
And how big is it?
That's 6 yard?
Yeah.
That big container, John, would that be a 6 yard?
Should say on it.
So
And how many businesses
yards
is that?
it is.
Be 6 yards.
Yeah, we pay. That's $37.50 a month for twice. For us anyway, I don't know. But,
We'll have to-
yeah.
We had somebody else reach out to us for garbage, we contract with the city. I don't know, Abby was gonna email you about it.
Yeah, well, there's really nothing new about it till 24 anyway, so, because that's when the contract comes due, but, yeah, that's,
How about the streets? Can you save the streets? That's probably as high up there on my list. Smaller truck, yes. Gotta get floaters. When they come into town, they gotta have tracks.
Also on the water rates, I added one in, so it's very specific. It's $42.50 per trailer house. So that is very clear in the ordinance. Speaking of that, we got half the money, or just about half paid. So Bill Block,
nice.
Hey,
or Hillsboro Properties paid about half with his own figuring.
And he doesn't own the property anymore, correct?
Correct.
He sold that, so.
But I do know that the new property owners are still working on that process, so, because they don't want to pay that, so,
Better be careful, Casey won't get to know him.
darn it. We don't want to run her out right away. The landfill rates were on there too, the armory, same, and Main Street, so they're all on one place. If I missed anything, let me know. Or if we need to make any changes, we should figure this out by the second meeting in November, I would say at the latest.
I like it all on one page, it's nice. Don't have to worry about,
Well, that
the
way,
girls can just laminate one and hang it on the door.
well, we,
Yeah, this, right there. Put it on the outside.
well, part of it is we say that we have a rate sheet in the ordinance, so we should have a rate sheet that says this is what it is, so,
Makes sense.
You can decorate it seasonally, out on the doors.
oh boy.
And we know you're good at that, so.
The last item under new business, which is really not new business, is I did put the grant together for the city, for the Forest Service, as long as you guys are okay with it. I think I sent it out to all of you. I can't remember. I know we forgot it in the packet. I thought I did.
I don't remember seeing it.
I don't remember seeing it either, but that doesn't mean anything for me.
Maybe I missed sending it.
When would he have sent it today?
No, it would have been last week.
Last week?
It would have been after the beautification meeting.
I don't see it.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
And if you ever question the importance of updating our trees, go talk to the gentleman down there. He'll let you know what's coming down the road with all this, is it
Emerald
ash?
ash borer.
Emerald ash borer. He said he said, you don't think it's coming, it'll be here, and we're gonna be losing a lot of trees, and you're not gonna replace them overnight. And that was coming right from a gentleman that would probably know more about it than we do. So,
He said they were in Cass County this year, so,
Was that the NDUS extension or NDSU?
that we had talked with.
Yeah.
No, it's the owner of Cheyenne Gardens.
Oh,
mm.
I think there are brochures on that.
There is, yeah, a lot. Let me see if I can find it.
He said it's real. So.
Yep.
So it's 25,000 that we would be applying for. And I made it a little bit more whether we do extra or not, but I thought if we put that, we might stick some money into it above that. It might give us a better, shot at it. But technically, we only need to spend, it's a reimbursement, so we'd spend the money and then get it back, but we would take out another 25 trees, which would be on our poor list that are around town, and those trees, or trees that are maybe been damaged by the wind, or they've been topped at the top, so we'd take out those 25, and the beautification commission would go around and pick those trees next spring or early on. There would then be about, there's a lot, I gotta remember now. $150 trees that we would buy, somewhere in there. Anywhere from Colog crabapples to hackberries to boulevard lindens to bur oaks to cobblestone oaks to black walnuts or others that we could get, which all come off from the North Dakota Forest Service. And then the other price things that are 200 trees. And tree trunk watering bags, if you haven't seen them, like around Fargo and Grand Forks, you fill the water up and then it slowly drips into the trees over time. So you're not having to go around and water all of them at once. And I'd hope that we could use somebody else with our summer crew to help take care of some of those. But the gist of it is that we would, the trees would go in, hopefully by property owners that agree to have it within a block or on the same block where we've taken out any trees, to make sure we get those replaced, and they'd get the bigger trees, say the 4 to 6 footers, so they'd be a little bit more. And then there's quite a few of the 2 to 3 or the smaller trees that we would ask residents to take, and if we don't get all those taken or used, then they would go over onto the new development so that we get that area covered with trees as we keep going. So the total project is $34,150, and we would get up to 2,500, or not 2,500, 25,000. Paul, do you want to talk any more on it?
Well, I remember, as we talk about this, I remember seeing it someplace. I just don't remember seeing it now. But I remember a lot of that. I remember the names of the trees and stuff like that you're talking about, so I have seen it, yeah. And it might have been under beautification too, we might have.
And I thought I had sent it out, but maybe I just missed it, so. But that has to be in at the end of the month, so as long as you guys are okay with it and approve that, I just sent it to you, which,
It's not a big deal, we just need to get all the commissioners together one weekend to clean up 25 piles of wood chips. You guys are all, you're all okay with that, aren't you?
I'll be busy that weekend.
So this is like a reschedule.
Like
We'll reschedule.
off ahead of time.
Can you let us know when you're available?
Yeah, I'm out of town that weekend.
Too bad, we just need an equipment operator.
and there is
Coming on.
a line item in next year that would cover this part of the grant, so.
I'll make the motion that
There's-
you submit the grant.
Is there a second?
1 second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Paul to submit the North Dakota Forest Service grant. Is there any other discussion? Paul?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Okay, I think that is it, unless we have anybody else that would like to address the commission. Looks like only one of us has an entourage tonight.
A compliment and an honor.
You should really introduce them.
Night.
You should- Hey, sir, you should really introduce them. I think it's important that people know. Well, some people are probably wondering, who are these people? I've never seen them.
I think we should all,
Who's that other guy? Do you know him? That guy there. Does he live in Hillsboro?
Never seen him before in my life.
Never seen him before in your life? As of now, right?
I think we should all thank Sarah and Abby for running the office, minus an auditor, for the fine job they've done.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
to welcome our
last
new
meeting?
auditor.
Oh, we can ask you to
the
come
job.
back.
I thought
I
Casey
agree.
told me the other day that she was going to be gone at the first meeting. Okay. Anything else for the good of the
We
order?
could make something come up.
If not, my shout out tonight is, since he's here, thank you, John, for all the extra work you put in, moving and doing stuff for me as needed. And I know I finally got the birthday card to you, even though it was like almost a month late. Belated birthday.
Better late than never, right, John?
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Moved by Dave, second by Nicole. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Oh, we got TV.